to introduce myself, just for you to understand better the sense on why we decided, or I decided to present today this webinar, no? Which is based, as Setolu was introducing, in the testing applied to the software product lifecycle. So this is in the end the final of my experience, summaries, what is happening in my day-by-day work, no? And yeah, the point is that from one side, I'm the TAST product owner. So TAST is Test Automation System Tool. So it is a product that we at SIPSA has developed, and is based on is a software developed in cloud, based using technique Agiles by a team that was created from the beginning, because in that case, let's say we were building this product that is mainly oriented to do test automation for not only integration, but also functional, system test, regression, and so on. And the point is that we started to develop this product by 2017. So it is a product created coming from my mind, let's say, and we were making it possible. No? And for that, we were building a complete new team that were using technique Agiles and mainly using DevOps in order to ensure that we were able to introduce this product into the market. And there are, at the moment, we have several customers that are using the product. And indeed, we continue using Agile techniques to maintain, evolve, and so on. No? I will not bring any additional information until we go really deeper in the presentation. So in the end, TAST is a product, and we have developed this product using Agile techniques. I was, in my previous time in my professional career, I was working mainly with Waterfall, and there I was evaluating benefits and cost, let's say, challenges, and what you find in each one of the methods in order to apply for the creation of the products. No? So in the end, TAST was, as I said, is already introduced in several customers, and we were also presenting the product into an international event that was called Agile, DevOps, and Testing event in 2020. So before the COVID starts. So until then, we were able to work. Let's say, but we were already applying Agile techniques, and we were really able to continue with the evolution of this product during the pandemic years. No? So this is also a good thing to consider when you are developing a product. No? You are not expecting that happen, but it can happen. And in the end, also the methods and the way to apply the methodology to deliver are important, no? Because depending on that, you are able to deliver or not. No? And in that case, I can say that the techniques that we were using were making us possible to continue with the delivery and the delivery and of the product to our different customers. So apart from that part, that let's say I'm focusing TAST as a product itself, I'm also the CTO responsible of SIPSA. So as CTO responsible, I'm also responsible to ensure that we are providing the best services to our customer. And what we realize is that at the moment, the market, the industries, and everyone is requesting quality in the way of using software, no? Because at the moment, everything is based on software. So every business, every industry, everything is based on software. And therefore, now the difference is not only in that you are good delivering the software, but also that you are the best delivering software and providing the best quality to the end customer, because this is really making the difference. No? Then based and thinking in that experience, we also developed, let's say, a line of extending the current quality standards to what we call spherical quality. That is a concept and a model that we presented last year here in SGDC. It's a model that is taking as the basis the standard model of quality, but making the focus the end user of the applications, because really that is what is bringing us the quality. We should have the view always in the end user in order to make possible that our products, as our services and our elements are really well oriented and providing the real value to the customers. So this spherical quality concept was, as I said, presented first time in this last year in GSDC event webinar, but we also were continue presenting that, and in the last year we were presenting, this year, sorry, I don't know, no? This year we were presenting in the Software Quality Days in Vienna, also this concept, and the reality is that let's say the different companies and the teams which are focused on providing quality in testing and so on are really moving into that direction, no? Always thinking in the customer in order to provide quality and ensure the quality into the software products, no? So then, considering these main two lines of views, we decided, or I decided, to present this presentation today. That is, let's see in a practical way, let's summarize how different is the application of the methods, Waterfall and Agile, from the testing perspective into the product software lifecycle. I hope that you find interesting this topic, and you can really realize and understand and find yourselves, in this type of presentations that I'm going to do, the different slides, because I am sure that if you are working into this area, in the quality, in the testing, in managing teams, agile teams, and so on, you will identify a lot of topics that we are presenting here. And I hope that you see the view that I am presenting. In case you are not seeing in the same way that I see, I will be really glad to have a chat with you, to review and have some discussions, because I think everything that we can share with people that is really working and moving into that direction and this into this area, I think will be always really interesting to review, because everything that we can share, we will learn more and more. So then, as initial, because it's not now. So I would like to present you, as we are going to talk about the product life cycle. The first thing that I would like to introduce, to make it simple, it's what is a product software. And in the end, what we see is that a software product is a software solution that is sold or provided, because in the end, everything is business, to cover the customer needs, or to provide and serve the customer needs. And what we see here is that usually every product, and this means everyone, it's having these four life cycle stages. So at the beginning, you have to do the introduction of the product into, let's say, the market. Then this product is going to grow. That means it's going to start to have more and more customers, and more people is going to use it, until one point that you say this will be mature, and which is the bunch of customer using your product. And finally, even if we don't want that happen, every product can have the decline, and then it can be that this product die. It can be that this is for a long time, but usually another product which is different is coming, and then You have somehow to do the migration of that one. So even if you never think on that, you also should think that the product is having these states, because it's needed to consider also in the case that you finish the service of the product to serve the customer, to do it in an organized way and in a proper way. So then let's say then we have these four main stages, and what we would like to review during this presentation is how we apply the different techniques using different methods and methodologies, Agile or Waterfall, into this life cycle of the product. And for the life cycle, we can compare like our real life. No, in the end, we had like a product. So we are born, and after that we are growing. Growing. We are teenager, moving then into an adult, and then when you are adult, you become old, and finally you die. So then, thinking in that in our life cycle, we can also compare the life cycle of the software product. No? I think this picture is quite orientative, and we can always identify which are the different stages of a product, also thinking in our life, in our way of living, and so on. So then when we are thinking about the methods that we can apply for the delivery of a software product, we can really apply a lot of methods and a lot of techniques and so on, but I would like to simplify, not to make it really easy, just to really identify the two main blocks and the two main areas of methods for working into the software delivery of a product, because then we can always find mixes. No, but with these two, I think we can identify the best part of each one of them. No? From one side, we have waterfall. Let's say the waterfall method is the all-known methodology, that is in cascade, that we become with one phase, and in a sequential way we go to the next one, and so on, and then we are moving in, since the product is just in the mind of one person, until this product is operative. No? The main important thing, and I think this view is really identifying that is sequential, phase by phase. On the other hand, we have the Agile. And the Agile was born due to let's say, the frustration of the creation of this method, due to they realized that the time that was happening was spent, since the idea was in the mind of the person that wanted to develop the product, until it was really productive and used for the end customer, was really big. No? Therefore, they developed this idea of Agile or DevOps, that means development operations. So as soon as you develop, things can start to operate. No, I think also this image is presenting the idea and the concept behind. So it's a method which is much more iterative, and then is making a small complete cycles. No, since you have planned something, then you code, then you build, test, release, and put it into production operation, and then you monitor this. No, and this is continuous. No? So it's really clear, no, with this view, the difference between one method and the other method. So now in the next slides, what I would like to do is just a deep or high level description of which are the main, let's say, in the practical way, no, which are the main basis for each one of them. No? And also to analyze which are the benefits and the challenges of each one of them. So for the waterfall side, I think the main sentence that can summarize the method and the concept is that the final product is defined during the requirement phase. So you have the final product, so that means what you are going to deliver to the customer, and it's completely defined at the beginning of the time. No? So then after that, you do the phase of analysis, where it's clear that you define all the requirements, how this requirement can be implemented into a technical way. You define the technical design, the technical model, and so on. And then once you have completed all the phase of requirements, analysis, and design, you start to code and create the product itself. But always having in mind that what you are building is the end product, no, the final product, what you expect to provide, no. And after that is coming the testing phase. So you have to completely test mainly on all the product that has been coded in the previous phase, and finally you move that to operations. So it's everything step by step, and always thinking in the final product that you want to deliver to the customer. So then, which are the main bases that we can summarize? As you see here written, what we have is a management which is much more straightforward. So always thinking, go to the next step, go to the next step. So you are not managing situations like retrospective or feedback and so on, because you start from the beginning and want to complete by delivering the product to the end. So therefore, it's based on sequential phases. And in that case, the experience tells us that the product members, so the teams which are working into the product itself, are divided into the different areas or different parts of the organization. So what we have in that case, so from one side we have the customers or the analysts which are close to the customer, taking requirements and identifying requirements in order to provide that requirements to a team, which is, let's say, the architects, or a technical team which is thinking into the technical solution, more at a design level, no? How to cover this requirement. But these are different teams, no? And it's not one team doing all these activities. Then after the design is done and the architects has designed the solution for the product, the development team starts to take place, no? And it's a development team, which is not the same team that the architects that were designed, or it's not the same team even than the analyst, no? So later on, we bring the testing team inside, and it's another team usually divided, no? And this is making also that not only the phases are sequential, but also that the hands that are touching the product or creating the products, the hands and the mind are different. And I think this is one of the keys that we will see later with the DevOps, that is different and change into the mindset. So the next important topic also is that you have the set end goal. So you are not expecting changes into that. So since you define the product, as I said, final product, everything which is going through, it's you are not prepared for that when you are building a product, let's say, in a waterfall mode, because you expect to deliver, and you are not expecting changes. And in the cases that you are changes, it's really costly, because you have to adapt the complete, let's say, organization to apply one change. It's not that fast. It's not easy to make changes into a product in a waterfall way. And after that, also, we have another important topic, which is testing after coding is complete. So usually when you are in testing mode, as I said, you have one team which is developing, the other team which is testing. And until developers are not delivering completely everything, they are not delivering to testing, and testing doesn't want to receive any product that is not completely delivered, because this is not expected. No? What they have as reference are the requirements that were written at the beginning of the phase, and if these requirements are not into the release that they are provided, and they will not accept that as a clear delivery of a product when we are using this method. No? After that, we also, in the end, the good part for Waterfall is that you have detailed plans adapted to the initial timeline that you have defined based on the requirements that you have. So everything is more static, let's say. And I think also an important key here when we are talking about the product life cycle is that the mature product is delivered at once. So what you expect when you are building a product in using waterfall methods is to bring the product as complete as possible with all the functionalities only at once, because it's taking so long until you build your product that you expect to provide everything that the customer could require at this time. So then this is, I think, another important topic. So building waterfall means build the final product. And these, I think, are summarizing high level, which are the key concepts of waterfall, in the sense to build the final product. So going now to the next slide, we can summarize also in high level, which are the main benefits and the challenges of waterfall. So the benefits, it's let's say waterfall is really, I will say, easy to plan, because you can have the complete list of the requirements at the beginning. Then you can build your plans, let's say, as complete as possible since the beginning. And also you can think that this predictability has predictability regarding everything related to the different phases of the project, and also it's easy to replicate. In the end, you can, using waterfall, you can always know which are the different phases to build the product. So independent of the product that you are building, no? It's easy, really more easy to budget, because in that case, you, as I said, you have the complete definition of the product. Then you know since the beginning, you can do a planification, and you can know better which is the final estimation in order to build that software, no? And that product. So that, therefore, it's more easy to budget. It's easy to do it. And finally, the product and the goals are, let's say, set from the outset. So in the end, it's set up from the beginning. And once you have cleared the rules to play, you can go to play, no? And usually, this is a good benefit, no, from waterfall, that you know which are the rules, and you know since the beginning everything in order to deliver. No? These are, let's say, the benefits. But what have happened with the challenges? Which are the things that are making difficult to apply this method, let's say, into the reality of building products? No? And the main, I think, challenge that waterfall have is that the user doesn't receive the product until the end. And I think this is clear, no? So as we are doing sequential phases, the really product will arrive to the customer when this is ready, no? And even ready, complete, full of functionalities, and so on. So even without knowing or having in mind how it can look before, they are receiving the final, but probably this is coming too late, no? Because you start to define which were the requirements of your product 2 years ago, and now your needs are totally different, because also the technology is evolving so fast that the software products need to evolve so fast. And this is, let's say, the big challenge, in my opinion, for Waterfall. At the end, you are waiting until the end. And also another big challenge is that any change will require a new blueprint. So it's really hard for, let's say, the product managers or the product owners to manage changes into that, because it's like you need to move the complete machine since the beginning. No? And that's not easy. And these two things are making the third one challenge, that is that innovations are really restricted, because you can innovate at the beginning. And as I said, to build a product can take years. No? So if you are thinking with the things that you know at this time, which are the requirements for your product, or which are the functionalities and how you want this product works, makes that you can innovate so easy, because it can happen that in 2 months you find a new, I don't know, technique, application, functionality that could be applied, but you don't know in the time that you are defining the final requirements. So the innovation is really restricted in Waterfall. And that means that to build a product in Waterfall, at the moment, it's, let's say, really complex to do it in this world that we are living with the digital revolution. Yeah. So then, therefore, we move to a new way or a new methods to build products. And for that, usually the teams are using these techniques, Agile, no? Not only DevOps as tools, no, the tools that you are using for coding, building, testing, and so on, but also really the techniques, no? And the teams are managed in a more agile way, and that apply to the product lifecycle. We will see the difference, no? So the main concept that are, let's say, summarizing the DevOps and the Agile way of building products, software products, will be that in Agile, the products evolve from a minimum viable product. So that means minimum viable product, minimum. You start with the minimum and you deliver continuously to the customer. And based on that techniques, you make that your product, you are building your product with the minimum functionality, and then you are testing continuously with the customer. So the customer is really providing you feedback continuously about if the functionality is good, if not, if you want an additional functionality. You can also receive by monitoring the production, monitoring the operation of your product. You can receive even feedback of how much is this functionality used, or this look and feel, and how is this impacting into the customer. So this is a really big difference, as you see with Waterfall. So in Waterfall, we were starting for building a final product and delivering it at once to the customer. And in that case, what we want is, let's try with the minimum. And with this minimum, let's see if we can continue adapt the customer. At the beginning of the presentation, I was saying that we were building inside SIPSA TAST, our test automation system tool, in this model. No? And the reality is that I'm the task product owner, and I was having clear which were the requirements for this task product owner, because I was tester. I wanted to do automation, and then I was really knowing which were the needs. But the reality and the experience that I feel once we were putting the team, involving the team for creating the tool itself, that the real customers and the techniques are evolving so fast that your product is not what you were thinking. The product that finally we were delivering, and we are now in a mature phase of this product, is not the product that I was having in my mind. And the reality is that I'm saying, oh, thanks God, that I was able to decide this way of creating the product, because otherwise I will do the perfect product for me, but not really for the real customer. And for me, in 10 years ago. So that's really an important thing to consider. No? In the end, you can think that you have the truth, but the reality is that when you are walking and moving step by step, you can really see the benefits of your product and what you are really delivering to the customer. Therefore, the main basis how we can summarize this agile method to apply to the customer is that in the end you have flexible and efficient way to create product and to manage the market. So because also you can have a product that is fitting in one moment and the market is suddenly changing and moving to a different direction, and you can have the chance with agile techniques to adapt to this change of the market itself. No? Additionally, in the end, what we are doing is, as I said, we are developing a minimum viable product, and after that, we continue to deliver software and we continue to do integration in order to evolve the different requirements. So it's a continuous improvement also, no? Not only in terms of the product itself, but also in terms of the team which is building the product. So another concept important is that in the end, everything is continuous, no? As well as you have continuous delivery and continuous improvement of the teams. When we are talking about testing, you are doing continuous testing. So also the techniques for applying the quality are different when we are thinking about agile. So the mindset also need to change in the time that we are applying quality. And another important thing that it's impacting the way of doing agile is that in the end, the best is to have one product team. So that means the team which is building the product is the team. So we don't have different areas doing analysis, requirements, architects, developers, testing, and so on. No, we have the product team. And of course, we need to find that all the skills are covered into this team in order to be able to manage the creation of the product. Everything should be focused in the product because the product is for providing and serving customer needs. So the orientation is totally different in that case. Another important thing is that in the end, the product team should work together daily, no? Because everything is much more transparent. It's more easy. We need to improve the communication because at the time that you are doing continuous delivery, continuous improvement, continuous testing, you need that the team it's really continuously working together. Together in the past was like in one room, everybody it's closed. We need to have Kanban boards into the walls and so on. But as you know, the evolution of the technologies and we're making us possible to work together, even being each one in our house. So, but we need to be prepared to ensure that the team and the capacity of the personal capacity of the people is able to share, to transmit everything which is happening into the daily work to the rest of the team. And for that we have, as you know, the different models, and we will not enter into the details about how we can apply Scrum or Kanban and so on, which are the different meetings and the standards. But it's clear that the team should work together, because without a team working together, it's not possible to deliver a product in an agile method, in an agile way. And due to all these things, then it's possible really to facilitate the communication, the transparency, and the traceability. Because all the items before are making that also using additional tools that are enabling us to register all the know-how of the different team members. It's making possible that since the beginning until the end, we are making fluent the communication, and then everything is more transparent and is much more easy to trace each one of the different changes and the different casuistics that could appear into the development and the delivery of the product. So going now to the benefits and the challenges of Agile. I think the biggest benefit applying Agile methods into the product software lifecycle is the end user satisfaction. So as I said, the big difference is that in that case, you are oriented to manage the customer satisfaction as soon as possible. And based on a small delivery, you are trying to get feedback and improve continuously over that. Therefore, the reality and what I can really reflect based on the interviews that we have done to our customers in the development of the products, and then depending on the different type of methods that we have used, is that using Agile techniques into the production and delivery of products, really the customer is much more satisfied. And additionally, it's more easy to achieve the time to market. When we talk about time to market, seems to be that, it can be that we are changing continuously priorities, and therefore we are not delivering something that we have to deliver on time and so on. But the reality is that in the end, the time to market is also something that the end customer is going to measure. And the problem is, if the end customer is not receiving the functionality that he needs at this moment in time, then it's like it's not time to market, no? And that was the problem with Waterfall. So in the end, Waterfall is, okay, you will receive everything until the end at once, but only once, no? And after 2 years, the customer was bored to wait for the functionality. And therefore, this time to market was something that was never achieved, really, with using Waterfall methods, because even if you were fitting into the plans, it was too late itself for the end user. The next big benefit of DevOps really is innovation. So it's even I can explain in my experience. So at the time that I was thinking in when I was we were thinking in TAST for developing the product, the innovation was not enough when I was thinking it. I'm realizing that day by day the technology is changing, the needs of the end user is changing, everything is evolving, and then you can really apply additional things that you find every day in the creation of your product. Therefore, the innovation is higher. And not only because the evolution of the technologies, but also because even when you are working in this mode where all the team is really focusing the product, thinking in the product, thinking in the end customer, they are really focused and orientated into that. And every single idea that they get that could be applied, they apply. And therefore, the innovation is growing exponentially. So it's amazing how you can innovate into building a product when you are using Agile techniques. And the fourth one, I think it's really that you don't only get end user satisfaction, but you as a team of the product you are getting the understanding of the end user needs, because you can monitor since the beginning, since the first time that you deliver the first functionality, how this is impacting into them and how they are using or they are not using. So the monitoring of capabilities that bring us to use Agile techniques at the time that you develop the product are really good for understanding better the end user, and therefore improving the end user satisfaction. But everything has a but, no? Which are the main challenges. And because Agile, it's, as I said, it's really nice. I really think that is the best method that we can apply for building products. But also you have buts, problems, no, challenges, let's say, when you are building that. And one of the biggest, at least from the technical perspective, is that it's difficult to ensure the evolution of products due to sometimes you are partially delivering functionalities. You are not getting the solution for the full paper, let's say, for the full picture of functionalities. And therefore, when you are cutting the functionalities into small pieces, you are developing sometimes solutions and that are not you cannot maintain, let's say, in the different long time, no, because it's more short time to solve one problem, and this is making you that continuously your product need to be reviewed, because there are things that you should apply continuously in order to ensure the long-term solution for the product. And this is from the technical perspective, one of the most complex part, because also the problem is that the team is focused to deliver functionality to the customer. Their customers are continuously asking for new functionality. You want always to deliver the best to the customer, but sometimes the team need to stop and think how we can really ensure that we can continue delivering functionality, because the basis sometimes, technologically speaking, need to be revisit, and even you need to apply big changes that could impact a lot, because to the production, so really to the end customers. So and this is really a big challenge in order to solve, let's say, the problem of the maintainability of the product long term. And then the second big challenge that I see into applying Agile techniques into a product is that you have uncertainty, no? So it's difficult to adapt to changes when you exactly don't know how things are going to behave, no? So, but it's part of the team, no? It's part of the team that we need to live with this uncertainty in order to make possible to adapt to the changes which are required. So that means it's a big challenge, because you need to, let's say, to build a team, a product team that is really open and can support this uncertainty. So I remember one of my colleagues that was starting into the TAST product, and he was really frustrated, telling me, Inma, I don't understand this way of doing things. I need to have the complete requirements, because otherwise I don't know how I can develop that, no? And are you sure that if we deliver this to the customer, they are going to be happy? If it's not complete, this need to be complete. So these mindset change need to be done also in the team, and the team need to accept that, yeah, it's true that in the end it's better for the customer to receive less and test and validate, and after that too we can deliver step by step additional functionality, but with a validation already done by them, no? But it's clear that in the end this uncertainty needs to be considered, and it's a big challenge, not only for the managing of the product itself, but also for the people with that belongs to a team. So then if we go to the next in the end, and as I explained, we don't want to talk only about the delivery of the products, but also we focus on delivering it with quality, no? Because the quality is the key of the success for every software product delivery at the moment. in the market. So in the end, depending on each one of the methods that you use for building your product, what you need to ensure is that this provides quality, and it's provided with quality in order that the end user can really work with that product without problems, without errors. No? And where we should focus then to apply this quality, let's go then into the testing phase. And thinking in testing, let's say now in the waterfall part, as I was explaining, we were saying that in waterfall, what we try to build is the final product and try to deliver this once we have completely built. No? So then what we can show here in this slide is that since the requirement, we just deliver, let's say at once, a product which is mature or expecting to be completely mature in order that can support all the customers accessing to it and using it. No? So then it's focus in the testing is really, let's say, summarizing that point. We have only one delivery, let's say, in order to achieve the maximum functionality, so the final product, and in order that we can deliver this product to the maximum number of customers and making it useful for everyone. So then when we are having these techniques, it's totally different to the testing techniques that we are using when we apply agile methods. So in that case, as we say, we deliver the minimum viable product. That will be the introduction phase. So when we are a baby, then in that case, what we do is to deliver, so we take the initial requirements, we deliver, we test, and then we continuously review how good or bad is this, and we continuously improve. No? So in that case, the deliveries are going also to be aligned with the different phases of the product, software product life cycle. So step by step, we are moving into the different phases, but always doing delivery testing, improving, and so on. So this is the big difference. So, and the difference is making much more intensive, let's say, the testing. Well, every activity, no, but the testing is, we are moving from one packet that we need to test during some months to something that we need to be continuously testing because we are delivering continuously. So then, thinking in these two differences, we know that the key to achieve quality is testing. And what happened in Waterfall? That in Waterfall, we are testing manually. It was like that in the past. The reality is that, okay, the requirements are defined, then we do the analysis, then we do the coding, deliver to the testing team. The testing team has no time to prepare the automation because the first time that they are receiving the product is the complete product, so they need to test it manually as soon as they can, and as maximum what they can prepare is for the next deliveries, for the next correctives, and so on. That because once the product is in production, for sure we'll have some errors and incidents. Otherwise, the tester will not have job, and that's not fair for the tester. So then, so in the end, the testing is done manually. But for sure, the testing team on that cases were preparing regressions and also mainly focus on doing performance, no? Because in the end, once you wanted to deliver the product that you are delivering at once, you want to achieve as much as customer as possible. Therefore, the product should perform properly since the beginning. No? And then automation were only applied mainly to regression and performance. But what is the difference in the testing when we are moving into the Agile world? The reality is that when you are in Agile, the testing is mainly automatic. But it's mainly automatic because as you need to be continuously delivering and deploying, so we need to adapt that everything should be much more effective. And then all the teams are looking for a solution for that. No? And there are tools that are making possible really to do the automation in order that it can be automated, the requirements and the tests as soon as they are defined, in order that it can be tested continuously, and automatic. And as we are delivering small pieces by small pieces every 3 weeks or so, the functional testing can be built at the time that the coding is done, and therefore we can continuously improve and manage an automation more completely. So which are the main test activities or test type of tests that can be automated when you are in DevOps and applying agile techniques into the creation of your product? You apply automation in the unit testing, in the integration testing, in the functional testing, during the acceptance also, because the process for doing acceptance is also faster if you are doing automation, presenting evidences, and the let's say the approval in order to move the software and the product to production is validating the results, and the system testing, as well as for Waterfall. In Agile, also you have to validate the performance, and you have to create the regressions and so on. So then this is the big difference. No, in Waterfall mainly the testing was manual and only focused the automation in building regressions and the performance testing. But in the other hand, when you are working in Agile method, you need really to apply automation in testing everywhere. So in every single test type, you need to apply automation, or at least to make it much more efficient. So, and the main basics for that is because in Waterfall, you are doing sequentially, and then when you are doing a sequential testing phase by phase, you don't need to, you don't have the chance, as I was explaining, to automate continuously. You have the chance to test when you receive the software. Therefore, you test manually mainly and just build a regression to ensure the quality for the next corrective things. But in the other way, when you are in the Agile, you have a continuous development, a continuous integration. Therefore, you need automation, yes or yes. Yeah. And then just thinking into way and evolving into the way that we are moving in DevOps to a more automation in testing, what we find, or the experience that we realized when we were building product and building product into the market, is that there are two ways, two different methods or tendencies to do test automation. And we have from one side the programming view, where the programmers are, so the testers become programmers because they need to code the test cases. So that means the test, somehow the testers are losing the focus of testing because they need to code, they need to develop. Yeah. And in the other hand, we have the codeless automation tools that are allowing the tester by automate testing without programming, let's say, just doing models or with graphical view to define which are the different elements of the product that you want to test, and you can do it by yourself. So then in that case, the tester is really focused on testing. So because they can continue thinking in how they should build the test case, they don't have to think how they should program or code the test. And so I see there are some messages. I will finish and then we can discuss at the end of the session. Sorry, can you go to the previous slide? I didn't think so. From that point of view, I think that the tester can be focused in this to understand also the business needs and more focus on testing. And also in the case of the codeless applications, are making possible that the end users can be involved also during the testing phase. At least this is what I experienced. In the cases that you go to the end customers with test cases automated in, let's say, coding and programming, they are not so open to validate these test cases because they cannot follow. And they would like, in order to provide the validation, to test by themselves. The experience is that in the cases that you go to the end customers with automatic test cases in this codeless application, for them is much more easy to follow the flow of the test case, and then they are more open to validate based on this evidences provided by this type of tools that in the other cases. So then let's say in the end, in testing, we can see these two views, the view more oriented to programming and testing, and in the other way, the view to the end users oriented. That, in my opinion, and based on my experience, I like much more that movement to the codeless part, because they can be focused on really testing and focus on understanding the end user, listening to the end users, and getting this type of feeling coming from the end user's perspective. So then now just moving to the last slide, I would like to summarize just that from my perspective, the product delivery is moving toward to use Agile and automation to achieve mainly end user satisfaction. So this is the evolution that I have seen. And the main conclusions that I get for that is that Agile product lifecycle is more focusing in the customer, that is focused to the continuous delivery, monitoring, integration, and improvement. And also the deliveries is with the focus to maximize the test automation. And what I also see in the market is that using codeless applications, because in that way, also the process for delivering into production is more efficient and more easy to follow. So this is the end of the presentation. I hope you have liked that.